Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Death Metal Batman. This is the second release of the Death Metal Batman figure. This one is part of the collective build Darkfather wave, and this one comes with a guitar instead of a Scythe. So let's go ahead and check out the packaging here. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane Toys, got the Spawn logo there, ages 12 plus. DC Multiverse Batman. Collect to build Darkfather. This is the fourth figure to build him. One side of the package here, Batman, Dark Knight's Death Metal. Other side simply says Batman. At the bottom, there's a bunch of credits, and there is a barcode in case that helps anybody. And on the back side here, here's Batman playing his guitar. Here's a checklist of all the parts to make Darkfather and some instructions. And then here are some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures from this wave. In this video, we'll take a look at the figure, we'll look at his accessories, height, and articulation. We'll compare him with the other Death Metal Batman, see if there are any differences besides the accessories. I got my figure at Target, happened to stumble in there, and they had the entire wave. Was very pleased to check that off my list. So no further ado, let's open him up. And here he is, next to the previously released version of the Death Metal Batman. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He comes with a display stand, a collector's card, and most importantly, this crazy looking guitar. So this Death Metal Batman has already been released before. He was released a couple waves ago in the non-Build-A-Figure assortment. The only difference is, he came with a Scythe instead of the guitar. He was intended to go in the Death Metal Bat Cycle, and he looks fantastic on that thing, but I'm pretty annoyed that McFarlane is pretty much forcing you to double dip if you want this guitar accessory, or if you want a complete Darkfather. This guy has sort of a steampunk, post-apocalyptic future, Mad Max type look to him. He's in his leather outfit, chains and spikes all over him. Frankly, he looks cool, but he doesn't look like Batman that I'm familiar with. This is actually the main Batman from the comics. I guess he died, and then using the Black Lantern ring, brought himself back to life, controlled other dead people. Really just a bunch of crazy stuff going on that probably is getting reset when Death Metal is over and Infinite Frontier kind of reboots the DC Universe. So let's take a look at the figure. Starting with his head here, his cowl looks good. Got the short ears, the angry sort of brow on top. He's got a little bit of stubble down there. It looks decent. My paint job, not so perfect. It seems like the stubble's a lot out of control. Going further down, he's got the soft goods jacket. It looks amazing. Spikes on the shoulders. Spikes on his bat fins, on his gauntlets. Chains with skulls on his belt. Chains hanging off. It looks great. The outfit is textured. You can see not just the big lines here, but a lot of subtle texture and detail below. The bat symbol on his chest looks pretty nice. Looks like double jointed knees, double jointed elbows. Overall, he looks very nice. I mean, the knee pads have bat symbols on them. But it's not really my particular version of Batman, but it does look cool for what he is. It definitely kind of screams Todd McFarlane, not that he created this design. And something I wanted to point out in this figure, he's got the Black Lantern ring on. This Batman was willing to give up his life for the greater good, donned the Black Lantern ring, became a Black Lantern, is controlling an army of the undead to take down the Batman Who Laughs. The world's in chaos during Death Metal and Dark Knight's Metal, and Batman's doing anything he has to take control. Now let's look at his accessories, and let's start with the boring stuff. He's got this display stand here, typical McFarlane stand, black perfect circle, DC logo at the bottom, one peg for the peg holes on his feet. It's very thin, very basic. And then we have his collector's card. On this card, you can see the Death Metal figure rocking out with his guitar, presumably playing some Death Metal music. Down here, Batman, Dark Knight's Death Metal. And on the back side, there is a description of what's going on. If anyone wants to read that, go ahead and pause now. Now let's look at his guitar. This is the main reason you'd want to get this second Death Metal figure, besides the Darkfather parts. Guitar looks crazy. It's got this dude screaming at the top there. You can see the strings going down here. It's pretty much all red, a little bit of yellow, a little black. Kind of looks like it's half the bat symbol in the back. Almost like if you had two of these guitars, you could put them together. Something negative, this thing is very bendable, very flimsy. It should be a little sturdier. It's crazy. I don't fully understand this guitar. I could be wrong, but I'm under the impression this guitar was only on the cover and never actually used in the comic. If I'm wrong or right, drop me a line in the comments below. Here's Batman rocking out on the guitar. That's one difference I noticed on these two death metal figures. This guy's left hand is intended to hold the guitar, different from the other release. It does look cool, Batman holding this guitar. I mean, who doesn't need Batman with a crazy guitar? But it's definitely a little unconventional. So here's the Scythe. This is not an accessory that came with this death metal Batman, but the previous version. A very cool accessory. It looks very nice. You can see this big wooden stick with a wrap all over it. The blade looks nice as well. Here's this Batman holding the Scythe. Looks cool. This thing is huge. I like that he can hold this one. The other guy had two gripping hands designed for the Scythe. This guy is one. Works pretty good though. And he can hold both accessories at the same time. Which accessory do you prefer? The Scythe or the guitar? Now neither one is a traditional bat accessory by any means. I personally put my Scythe in Scarecrow's base, and this guitar, hell, I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. It's definitely not going to go in my bat armory. And while not exactly accessories intended for this death metal Batman, he also comes with Darkfather's legs. Darkfather is the collect build-a-figure from this wave. If you get all the figures, you get Darkfather. He's essentially a Dark Multiverse Batman and Darkseid combo. The legs here look very nice. I really like the sculpting detail on the gray part of the suit. Looks woven, almost like Kevlar. Very Batman-ish. Then he's got these blue boots. They scream Darkseid, but the coloring also screams Batman. Double jointed knees. It looks very nice. And here's the Darkfather figure, fully assembled. This guy's a beast. Especially when you put him next to the death metal Batman. Darkfather here is a big boy. And another accessory that's intended for this figure. This is a second vehicle McFarlane has made in their Multiverse collection. This is the death metal Bat Cycle. It's essentially a Bat Cycle with a giant bat skeleton surrounding it. It looks very cool, but it's also very unconventional. You can see the little beady eyes there. The texture all over the skeleton looks phenomenal. The coloring's good. A little white, a little off-white. I mean, look at the spiral in the ears. The bat symbol, logo on the rims here. The mouth holding the wheel. It just looks excellent. They killed it with this thing. See all the texturing and sculpting detail. The spine back here. Just did such a nice job. I would love to see them take this and make a traditional bat cycle as well. That would be fantastic. Here he is riding on the bat cycle. Even though he has different hands than the original death metal Batman, both hands can still grip on the handlebars. He looks great. They did an excellent job making this figure fit on here. You can see the way his jacket is. It's split down the middle. It's soft, so it's not going to interfere with him sitting on there. Fits on this thing absolutely perfect and looks even better. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, he's sitting at about 7.1, maybe 7.2 inches tall, which is going to translate to about 18 centimeters. Now let's look at his articulation. Start with his head here. Of course, you can rotate from side to side. He can look up and down about that far. Can't tilt his head from one side to the other, giving him a nice amount of personality here. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes out more than 90 degrees, even with the jacket there. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. Does have a butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest here, just increasing the range of motion. He's got a bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows below that. His wrist here has a ball in it. It can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. Ball joint his torso, rotate around, go forward and back. Another ball joint his waist, can also rotate around and go forward and back, giving him a very nice range of motion in his torso. Legs go out about this far, not a ball joint, but a similar type idea. Rotation, almost non-existent. Legs go forward that far, back, not too much. There is a thigh cut here, one of the only times McFarlane has done that, although it is hidden very nicely. Double jointed knees below that, they go back about that far. Then his ankle here has a ball in it, similar to the wrist. forward and back, can rotate, can tilt and rock, and there's toe articulation. Now let's check out the differences between the first Death Metal Batman release and the second Build-A-Figure Death Metal Batman release. They are 100% the same figure, except for their left hand. This one here is a little bit more open to hold the guitar, and this one here is a gripping hand that can help hold the scythe. Now their faces are slightly painted differently, but not by much, just a little factory difference here. They are essentially the exact same figure, minus the accessories and their left hand. And I imagine most people that buy both these figures, they're either going to sell one of their Death Metal Batman figures, or they're going to display them both like this. Here's Batman jamming out on stage. And here's the Trinity together, playing in their death metal band. Here he is in the Batcave, getting ready to take out the death metal bat cycle. Now a little change of scenery. Here he is riding the death metal bat cycle through the Gotham City streets. And then a closer shot of him on the bike. And as this Batman parks his bat cycle, starts walking down the street, some homeless guy turns to him and says, "Nice coat." Now let's check him out next to some other action figures, starting off with some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here's this Death Metal Batman next to the first release of the Death Metal Batman. And here he is next to the rest of the collective Build-A-Figure Darkfather wave. Then here's this Death Metal Batman next to the Dark Knights Metal Batman. And here he is next to all the different Bruce Wayne as Batman figures McFarlane has made so far. Then next to all the evil Bruce Wayne as Batman figures McFarlane has made. And here he is in front of my entire McFarlane DC Multiverse collection, including all the variants. I've got a total of 76 figures and 2 vehicles. That's not counting Red Hood or Death Metal Batman twice. And here's a little more of an aerial view of the entire collection, in case anything was missed. Now let's check him out next to some action figures from different various companies to see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane figure, they're the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect and work my way smaller, and I'm going to include as many Batman figures as I can during these comparisons. Here he is, next to some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. And here, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles Batman figures. And here he is, next to some NECA Batman figures. Then, next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And here he is, next to some Mezco 1/12 cloth soft goods Batman figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse Batman figures. And here, next to some Mafex Batman figures. Then, next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts Batman figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. Overall, this is a pretty cool Batman figure. He looks excellent, but it's just more of the same. The fact that this guy is 99% reuse definitely brings him down a notch or two for me. I do find it annoying that McFarlane is forcing you to double dip. Sure, they come with some completely different accessories, but I could have lived without the guitar. I definitely wanted to get Darkfather though. Beyond all that, this guy looks fantastic. It's not a traditional Batman, but for what they were going for with the source material, they knocked it out of the park. I mean, it looks great, the jacket's great, the spikes, the chains, the sculpting on his suit, just fantastic. Articulation is pretty good. I really like how his jacket can fit around the bike. They executed that very nicely. So if I were to rate this guy, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. He would have had a higher rating if he wasn't a second time releasing this figure. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.